Her imaginary friend will scare the living daylights out of you. It's normal for kids to have imaginary friends. It's part of our childhoods. But maybe not this kind of imaginary friend. This story was picked up by women's magazine Oh Comely when they asked kids to illustrate and write about their imaginary friends. A girl named Ruby drew a picture of her imaginary friend Grateful, who has yellow eyelashes so she can see in the dark, and she has 2 babies in her belly. Okay. Ruby said Grateful only visits her at night, which at first she was quite afraid of. Then, as Ruby got to know her special friend more, she began to enjoy the time they spent together. However, what's terrifying is the fact that Ruby said her imaginary friend is 14 years old, but can never have a birthday. Well, we don't know what that means, but it sounds ominous and curse-related. Twitter user Natalie Morales tweeted the picture of the drawing with the caption, "Ruby, you have a ghost. This is straight up terrifying." And the Twitterverse agreed, as the post instantly went viral and was retweeted more than 26,000 times. So, who wants a visit from Ruby's imaginary friend tonight? I see dead people.
LaToya Almond says her home in Gary, Indiana is haunted with over 200 ghosts. Now, I know what you're thinking, but she has plenty of independent eyewitnesses, including an ordained priest, a practicing doctor, workers from the Department of Child Services, and mountains of paperwork by government agencies and signed affidavits to certify that she, nor any others in her family, aren't making this up. Scared yet? In November of 2011, LaToya and her family moved into their new home, and the strangeness started immediately. Swarming flies, strange noises, and even ghost punches and levitating children were observed. The hauntings were concentrated in the basement area. That's when LaToya organized an exorcism. Yeah, something like this, I'd imagine. But actually, according to the official statements given by the aforementioned people present, it was more like this. And this isn't where the story ends either. When both DCS and police visited the homes themselves, they also experienced some paranormal activity. As you can imagine, most people think LaToya is just talking nonsense. Her children were forced into foster care and are officially listed as delusional. One psychologist recommends LaToya be assessed to determine whether or not, and I'm quoting now, her religious beliefs are masking her own shortcomings. Still, police and DCS officials continue to investigate the house.
They're here.
Photo shows soul leaving crash victim's body. This photo of a fatal accident has gone viral on social media. Saul Vasquez of Mount Sterling, Kentucky, posted the photo on Facebook writing, "Zoom in and pay attention to the shadow just off the top of the state trooper hat. All I can say is I hope everyone involved is okay." The photo was taken on July 12th in Kentucky, off a service highway. A motorcyclist was in a single vehicle crash on the highway. When police and emergency vehicles arrived on scene, Vasquez was driving by in another vehicle. Vasquez, who has since been said to be blessed with a sixth sense-like vision, snapped the photo, catching sight of what looks like the motorcyclist's soul leaving his body. Did you see the soul? Officials said the motorcyclist was taken to a local hospital, where he later died. But the photo has made believers out of many Facebook users. One commented, "God is real." Another said, "Simply amazing." And when a doubter suggested the soul was really just a part of the tree branches and leaves, believers chastised him. One user said, "You can clearly see a human silhouette." Another said, "The camera can catch what your eyes cannot." But if the motorcyclist didn't die until he was in the hospital, perhaps it wasn't his soul that was caught on camera? Demon to some, angel to others. This photo of what appears to be some sort of winged creature has gone viral, with some saying it's a demon, while others insist it's an angel. Richard Christensen from Levine, Arizona, posted the photo to Facebook on January 1st. In his post, Christensen asked, "What the hell do you see in this picture for reals? Anybody?" The post was shared 80,000 times before Christensen took it down on Wednesday. But many people are skeptical, suggesting the dark shape looming over the sidewalk is likely just a tree or a Photoshop job. But Facebook user Chrissy Love seems convinced of the photo's authenticity. Love noted that there weren't any palm trees in Levine that looked like a demon. "I knew Levine was haunted," she wrote. But what do you think? Is this just a tree shaped like a winged spirit? A Photoshop stunt? Or is it evidence of the supernatural? Let us know in the comments.
Swiss scientists able to offer lab-grown ghosts now. Ever had a ghostly feeling that someone was watching you? Swiss scientists now say that ghostly feelings or manifestations are just a trick of the brain when it loses track of the body's location. This may occur due to stress or other factors. Researchers discussed the case of Reinhold Messner, a high-altitude mountaineer who felt the presence of a third, non-existent hiker during his descent from the Himalayas mountains. At the time, Messner was exhausted, freezing, and oxygen-deprived. He claimed he could sense the presence of a third hiker just to his right, out of his line of sight during the descent. The Swiss researchers built a robot which could be controlled by participants. These movements were then relayed to a slave robot which could touch volunteers on their back. 12 volunteers were blindfolded and asked to move the robot. It was only when scientists delayed the movements of the second robot by only 500 milliseconds, volunteers would begin to feel another presence in the room. Some said they could feel up to 4 different presence, and 2 volunteers were so creeped out that they asked to stop the test. Prior to the test, the scientists had tested 12 individuals who suffered from neurological disorders, as well as ghostly apparitions. All 12 showed disturbances in 3 parts of their brain: the insular cortex, the parietal frontal cortex, and the temporoparietal cortex. These sections of the brain control movement, self-awareness, and spatial awareness. Ghost in the Machine murder victim appears in laptop. Back in December 7, 2003, in central Taiwan, an unidentified man bought a second-hand laptop. The man would later tell police that after he bought the computer, he began noticing strange things happening around his home. The first time he booted up the computer, a video began automatically playing, and he saw a woman in a white shirt flash across the screen. The man dismissed the strange incident and reformatted the computer, but then he began having strange dreams about the woman. He would later recognize her from the news as a murder victim. He surrendered the computer to police, and the police were able to trace the computer's serial number to the victim. The 20-something-year-old victim was a woman who'd been murdered by an auto repair shop mechanic. The man had dissected her body, cannibalized a few prime cuts, and hidden the remains of her body in his repair shop. He'd then sold her laptop online. That was how her laptop ended up in the hands of this unlucky haunting victim.